Hello and welcome to the Banker's View from Sibos video series, filmed here on location in Sydney. I'm Joy Macknight, Deputy Editor at The Banker, and I'm joined by Verschoyle-King, who is Global Head of Financial Institutions Payments at Western Union. Alan, thanks so much for joining us today.
You're very welcome, Joy. Nice to see you.
So what would you say are going to be the big themes this year at Sibos?
Do you know, it's interesting. I've been coming to Sibos for the longest time. I think this is my 21st. And every year we go through what are going to be the themes this year. Actually, it tends to be a continuum. So I think what we've seen for the last few years around risk reduction and risk management, digitization, and that dreadful word co-opetition, I think they're the key themes that keep running through Siboses. So I think they'll be here this year. And then in addition, because we're in Australia, I think we've got the whole thing about the banking inquiry and the drive to open architecture and open banking. So I think they will be the big themes.
So that was going to be my next question, which is really around how open banking is really going to drive innovation and change in payments and banking.
Well, I'm a believer in open banking. I think as a principle it's the right thing. But the question becomes, just having access to data is not necessarily in and of itself client experience enhancing. It's what do you do with the data? How do you put analytics around it that make it value added? And how does the client or the customer ultimately feel, this is for my benefit? And I think that's the big evolution now that we need to see here in Australia and beyond.
You've been in your role now for about a year.
I have.
How has Western Union's strategy has changed with financial institutions payments?
I think it's probably fair to say, and I hope my colleagues won't in any way take offense at this, this is the first time we've had a truly global financial institution strategy. You know, I was lucky in that I inherited an FI business that is fairly strong in most markets around the world, but it was being managed on that basis as a series of individual markets or regions. Now we have a consistent global approach to how we source our clients, how we manage our clients, and then hopefully how they see us as a global provider. So I think globality is a big theme, and I think the second thing for us is true co-opetition or cooperation with our clients. We recognize we play in spaces across the value chain, and it's how do we work with them to work together across that value chain.
But how would you say an incumbent organization like Western Union can really drive forward that innovation on the one hand, but also not sort of dampen down the competition on the other?
Well, there is always a tone, isn't there, around long-established organizations like Western Union, you know, around for nearly 200 years. Can they really be innovative? But if you think about it, that's the reason we've been around for 200 years. So that innovation theme is there throughout our history and is there now. So the digitization space, becoming more of a tech player in our own right. And also, frankly, figuring out what we're not particularly good at, that's not a core competency, and working with others to do it. I think for us, that's how we innovate. We're also a very young organization, and that's important. Young in terms of our staff.
Well, that was going to be my next question, which is really around how does an incumbent organization really attract the new generation of talent that's needed to do this innovation?
I can honestly say that at Western Union that's not an issue for us. I mean, there are days when I walk onto the floor in the office I'm on in London, look around and I think, I'm actually twice the age of most of the people on this floor. So attracting younger people, it hasn't been a challenge. And anticipating that you'll say, well, why? I think for us it's probably two or three things. One is we're an incredibly digital company. And for younger people entering the workforce, I think that makes them comfortable because that's what they're used to in their personal lives. I think secondly, we're in an environment where just in terms of flexibility, how you work, how you present yourself and turn up at work, we're very relaxed, and I think that helps. And the third thing is we're actually quite small. We're only 10,000 people, so the ability to innovate and make your mark while you're innovating is actually easier than in a 300,000 FTE organization.
Excellent. Thank you so much for your insights, Alan.
You're very welcome, Joy. Thank you.